Hello and welcome to a very special episode of CrossButton VR. I'm Alex, your host for this evening, or today, or this morning, or whatever time it is that you're listening. And as always, I'm joined by Reese. Hello, Reese. How are we?
Hello there. I'm doing well. I'm good. Had a good day.
Cute. We didn't get to go to Gamescom, did we?
No, sadly not.
Sad. But someone who did get to go to Gamescom and represent us out there was Sean. Hello, Sean. How are we?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I did get to go to Gamescom, and there's a lot for us to talk about today, so it should be some exciting stuff. So let's crack on.
Look forward to it. Before
Nice.
we get into that, I just want to take a minute to say we are CrossButton VR. We are a small team who bring this to you every week and some bonus episodes almost every week at the moment as well. So there's been plenty of content. And if you do want to support us, we are now part of the Meta Quest affiliate program. So we will have some links at the end of the episode for some of the things we've been talking about. We can click, get a little discount, and we do get a little bit of commission, and that will help us make the shows. Please do support us in whatever way you can. Come in, join our Discord, links there as well, and just interact with us. So we ask a little review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, some comments on the videos, easy stuff. But thank you all. We've had a great few weeks. We're building great momentum, and it's all down to your support. So as we've said in our socials, huge shout out and huge thanks to the VR community because it's given us a big boost, and we're looking forward to what we've got to come.
Certainly. Big thank yous.
As I said, Sean's been to Gamescom. We're not bitter about it. Not at all. We didn't get to go. I'd
Next
always
year,
planned to
guys.
go this
Next
year and
year.
it didn't happen. I had to have knee surgery instead. Not bitter. Not bitter at all.
You
So-
said the knee surgery was quite fun though, right?
Yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
got
Cool.
a knee like two little snake eyes on either side of my knee now. It's quite cool.
Keep tattooing.
But yeah. So let's get into the games. The home of XR had plenty to showcase. So Sean, do you want to tell us what do you want to talk about first?
So, am I good to go? Because I've already missed that little thing.
Yeah, go.
Yes,
You're
yeah,
good.
yeah. So yeah, the Home of XR, the mega booth in Gamescom. But before we get into the games and everything, I just want to give a big shout out to the guys who sort of sorted this out. The guys who were there, Jamie and Zena, they were great. Everyone who was involved with it on all the booths had an amazing time meeting everyone. Everyone was lovely. So just wanted to get that out of the way beforehand because it was a great booth. It was so easy to get around and easy to sort of find the different booths. And yeah, just a great time overall. But let's get into the game. So I had a pretty stacked appointment list throughout the 2 days I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do the entire weekend just because of timing and when I booked it. But it was basically throughout the whole morning, the first day, I was just back-to-back appointments. So the first game I tested out was from Fast Travel Games, and that is Action Hero. So this is the game which is very similar to Super Hot in a lot of ways, which is a fan favorite game for a lot of VR players. And I mean, I saw it at the VR showcase hosted by Jamie the other week. I didn't know exactly what type of game it was, so I was kind of doing this for the first time. And essentially, I think it's movies basically. That each level has multiple chapters, but they're each a different genre of movie. And I only got to play one level of the game. Well, one full level with a couple of chapters, and it was essentially like an Indiana Jones game. So the mechanics were very similar to that of Super Hot. Nothing moves until you move. So, but instead of the art style of just red crystal men coming at you, you actually have a fleshed out level here with different level designs, different enemy designs, and it was like a World War II Indiana Jones aesthetic with all these different sort of soldiers coming after you. So the gameplay was very much like Super Hot. So they'd be running at you and you could dodge out of the way of bullets, Matrix style, pick up guns, and I think you could actually throw the guns at the enemies as well. So there was a lot of cool set pieces in the few levels that I did play. Admittedly, I wasn't great at it at the start. And if you guys have ever played Super Hot, when you're trying to speed things up, you kind of just sit there sort of reeling your weapons around to bring people towards you. So there was a lot of that trying to get to grips with it, but that sort of leads into the whole point of Action Heroes, that you get to make the scenes as you want to play them. So guys are running at me and I'm just winding up this slow motion to get the perfect shot where I can grab the gun out of their hands or punch them or do something. So there is some melee combat in the game as well. So there's just lots of different ways of tackling each scene, but it does put you right in the place of the action star, because you get to make these scenes play out how you want to, really. And it wasn't just that there was enemies coming at you. There were certain things in the environment, like Indiana Jones style, like giant boulders crashing through walls and stuff like that. You'd actually have to duck under and use the environment to actually take enemies out. So you didn't actually have to kill some of the enemies. You could just dodge out of the way of the environment and let that do the job. So I only played the 3 sections of the first level, but it's going to be a really fun one. And for the guys who like Super Hot, then you're going to be enjoying this one, because it's just like that, but you get to play different genres of movie scenes. So great game.
So, see, in terms of the genres, and obviously the level that you got to play was kind of Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Have they taken like some like proper kind of cinematic references and gone for a homage to like those different genres, and they're all like recognizable, or have they just kind of gone with a theme?
Well, like I said, with like the boulder, they did have set pieces that were clearly inspired by specific movies. I'm not sure what the other genres were. I think there was 5 selectable, but I couldn't actually play all of them, and I'm not sure what genres they were. But I'm going to assume some of them were maybe a bit the cyberpunky Blade Runner style. I'm trying to remember now, because it's been a few days and I saw so much. But
I mean, one of them had a dinosaur in it, didn't it?
The dinosaurs are actually in the Indiana Jones.
One of them looked like Wild West as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
There was one with a helicopter, a train. Yeah, it was very all over the place. But no, it definitely looks good. I very much enjoyed Super Hot.
Mm-hmm.
So glad more people are doing stuff similar gameplay mechanic as that in their own way, and kind of spicing up a little bit. As like you said, not having crystal men running towards you, which wasn't a bad thing. It was always great watching them shatter. But seeing that mechanic be used again and for a new fledged out experience is really, really exciting.
Yeah. And I think they have sort of not ranking, but there's a sort of leaderboard things in there where you can do certain challenges in the levels to get a ranking system, and it's all movie based. I can't quite remember what their title, but it's like the Oscars or something. You get trophies for doing certain categories in each level. But it's really good. The first thing they said to me, like to pitch it to me, was like, you get to punch a dinosaur in this game. So that's how they promoted it to me. So I was
the selling point right there, isn't it? I mean, you get to punch a dinosaur, so this is why you should buy the game. I mean,
when you're at an event like this and they're kind of asking for your feedback as well, they asked me what I would like to see in the game, and the first thing I said was, it's going to sound stupid like I did when we were talking about Blade and Sorcery, but I asked for blood. And immediately as I said that, I looked at the poster on the wall, and it said like age rating 7. I was like, I don't think I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I want more mutilation in this game. It just doesn't hit the mark for me quite enough.
Yeah.
You know, I play Blade and Sorcery. I like beheading people. So if we can get this in the game, I'd really appreciate it. They just look at you with disgust on their face. Yeah. No, I think that's one of the things I really like about conventions as well, when the developers ask you for feedback. Or another cool thing I've seen before is some of them is where they leave like a feedback book, so you don't have to approach them. You can just write in a book. And I've done one of those before, and literally I remember going back and checking out the game, just seeing all the updates they made from the feedback book. It was, so it really does matter. And I think it's like we've had devs on here before, and they've always said these type of conventions are the best type of free play testing they can get for their games. So it's integral. Yeah,
I didn't really hold back as well when I was speaking to all of these guys. I was just asking as many questions as possible. So, nothing was held back usually. I might have forgot some things.
And I mean, that's as Reece says, that's what they want. Like, feedback is golden to these guys. And I'm like, this all it can do is make a better game. And I'm really looking forward to this one. I think that I've played a little bit of Super Hot, not a huge amount, but I like that style of game. I think maybe something we'll end up touching on later. I was going to say V for Vendetta, but that's not what I mean. Vendetta Forever. Like, obviously, it's got a little bit of that in it as well. And then you've got Cold VR coming out as well, which is off the similar thing. So there's a few of these titles coming out, and we'll see how it goes. We don't have a date for this yet. That's right, it's 2024, but they've not dated it as of yet. So that is Action Hero, and we can all look forward to being Action Heroes later this year. Next up was a little bit different. All on board?
All on board, yeah. So this one I didn't really know too much about at all. So this game is by the Game Kitchen, and I was interested to find out that the guys who made this actually made the game Blasphemous. So it's a different genre of game, but it was a game. Yeah, it's a game where you can essentially get together with friends this is the big focus. It's a tabletop game within a VR headset, and you get to play with, I think they said up to 6 players, maybe even aiming for more in the future. But they have actually licensed out real board games. They've gone to people who've made board games before, like some of the big hitters. I'm not sure of the entire list. I think there's 6 they're planning on launching the game with. That could change, but they've actually gone to the people who've made these board games, asked for the license, and then used that to convert it into a VR version. So these are all games that you could play with your friends, like in general, playing tabletop games. So what they've done is they've given you the option to just be able to play this actual board game, but with your friends anywhere in the world, which is a great thing. So I played maybe a couple games on there, but it was more about just getting to grips with the rules of the game and just showing how the gameplay works as a platform, because this is what it is. It is a platform for multiple different games that they are planning on adding quite frequently, actually. So I can't remember the name of the first game I played, but it had a physical space where you had a table in the middle, and you had a board for yourself and how many players there are, and you could move it around like in sort of Demio, where you can move around the table, you can grip the table and zoom into things as well. So there's a lot of things in the game with sort of the resolution, where if you really want to zoom in on stuff, it gets a lot clearer as you get closer, and the further out the resolution goes blurry, but it's more of a thing so you can really see what you want to focus on, and that plays into your hand of cards and the things on your table. So dice, there's a dice box in the middle in this specific game I played. So you play it essentially as if you were playing a tabletop game. When you pick cards, you put your hand up, and like a space for a card comes in, you can pull them out of the deck, and you press, I think it's one of the buttons on the controller, the Y or the B, I always get them mixed up, but that would actually give you a full description of the items that you were looking at. So with this being a platform for like multiple games, there's always got to be a way where you can figure out what you're actually doing. And I think this Y button will follow across in each board game, where you can press that and you'll get a detailed description of the rules or the card or the information that you need to know. So instead of reading like a 10-page manual when you're trying to learn a tabletop game, you can kind of do it all within the game. And I think they also said they'll have sort of video tutorials and maybe links to proper tutorials that you can watch like in the game, in the platform as well. So it's good for speeding up time when there's 10 people trying to learn at the same time. And with the way that you can check the information in game as well, it's just a good way to keep handy on the rules. But the main goal in this is to get friends to play together wherever they are in the world. And my big point for this was, I love like video games, and I do love the idea of tabletop games, but I don't have that many people in real life that I have the time or into that type of thing to even play. So this would actually be an in for me to play more board games and learn more board games. And maybe if it sort of becomes interesting to me, I'd want to go out and do it more and actually buy the physical games. So it's just like, it depends on who you are and your experience with it. But I feel like this is something for everyone, because you can play whatever type of game you want. If it's a platform and there's only a specific game that you want to play, you can go out and just buy that one game and show your friends. And what the developers did say about this is that they plan to have the DLC as a one person buys, everyone else can play, which I think is a great feature. And I was saying that to the guys, like, if you buy, I don't know, a horror board game, 5 of your friends might not be interested in that, but if you buy it and you let them play in your game, they might really love it, but they might still not want to get it. But one of your friends might buy another game that you're not interested in, and you'll have this dynamic where all your friends could all buy a specific game that they really like the look of, and you could all test it out with each other. And I think it's more of a social experience in this one, and I'm hoping this one takes off, because the guys seem really, really interested in it and building it up. And that's the main launch thing now, is just trying to get the platform out and getting people in and building from there. But it's a really cool idea, and I can't wait to play more of this when we get some access to it.
Story reason you go.
I was going to say, I'm glad they're getting this out for people to actually try out, because I remember when you mentioned I said this is one of the ones we heard about back at EGX last year, and the VR Spotlight, and it was showcased there. And funny you say it, because my brother absolutely he's not interested in VR whatsoever. Tried, can't get him hooked. But that was one of the games where he did like the look of, just because he does like board games, and he thought the whole aspect of that was quite enjoyable to, just the idea of it. Because again, like you said, getting a group of people to play board games can be difficult. Yeah. But no, I thought it was a great idea when I first saw it. But I'm glad people are actually now having a chance to give it a go and see what it's like.
It has mixed reality as well, by the way.
Oh, that's good then. I feel like with board games sometimes that's a great idea to have that, because obviously you can just have your own table in front of you and just whack the board game on your table. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. And like you said, with everybody, just one person buying it and everybody getting to try it who's in that party, when you were talking about like having a group of friends just all sitting around playing a board game, it's the same thing as Walkabout Mini Golf. You have a group of friends, you're all just playing it and you're just having a good laugh. And it's that same type of aspect. Yeah. So I'm glad they went for that as well.
Yeah, because I was thinking then, I was going to ask you about mixed reality, and because I think it'd be great with mixed reality, and Reece, to your point there around social and playing like things like Walkabout Mini Golf and like Synth Riders and stuff. And it's that whole experience of if one person has the content, and we were playing Beat Saber the other night. Yeah. If you both had to have the DLC packs to be able to play it against each other and stuff, and like that's such a bad thing in a multiplayer experience. And it's great to see that if one, personally, I don't think this would work if everyone had to buy the board game. I think it almost defeats the purpose. Yeah. But I could imagine sitting here at a physical table with the headset on, feeling like you were playing the game. So yeah, I'm quite excited for this. I think this looks a lot of fun. And it'll be quite a good experience just trying to find the board games that you like. Yeah. Because there'll be so many in there, and I'm assuming there's so many to start, and then because I think there are quite a few included to begin with, like you said, and more will be added over time. So yeah. Be really curious to see how this lands, because it's not going to be a game for everyone. Like, not everyone wants these board games. Yeah. Because I immediately thought Demio is probably the closest kind of thing you've got to it just now. And the thing we always found with Demio was it took too long. Yeah. And that's where Demio battles came from, and I think that's much more fun. But still, I find Demio quite complicated, and even the battles quite complicated to actually understand what you're trying to do. Yeah. Whereas hopefully a lot of this, as you see with the help system and the video tutorials, it'll really kind of ease people into it and make it such an enjoyable experience that you probably set aside maybe a night a month or something to sit and be your board game night.
And if the platform does get a big variety of games, you're gonna be able to pick and choose which ones are easy to pick up and easy to play, and ones you can play multiple times in a row. Whereas some of them might be one that you play only once a month because it's a big game. You just get ones that are a 10-minute session that you want to jump into. So it plays into that aspect as well.
Yeah, because you did have something similar on PC VR, Tabletop Simulator, which kind of goes off the same thing of everybody just playing either board games. I believe you can even play Warhammer on that one. But that doesn't kind of sit with just board games. It's from cards to dominoes to all various things. But it is. Could you just imagine everyone playing Monopoly in VR? Yeah.
Well, one last thing to mention is I'm pretty sure if this is coming to PC as well. I think they did actually mention about mod support. I'm pretty sure they said there's got to be an ability to make your own games, and yeah, they definitely did, because I was asking.
I believe that was mentioned in the trailer last year that I saw. So
I was asking how easy it would be to actually put your own assets in, images and stuff, and the way they described it seemed like it would be quite a simple thing to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that side of it, because you could literally do anything.
VR, the board game, coming soon. Next game you got to see was one that we already know about, one we've already played, so you got to check out. We meet up with Maze Theory and look at Infinite Inside.
Yeah, it was my first time playing, and I didn't get too much of a hands on just because in the booth where this was, it was in one of the smallest sections, and there was actually 3 studios all trying to play VR together in the same little space. And when I say small space, I'm talking not much bigger than this.
Very cozy.
Yeah, so when there's a giant plinth in the room that you're trying to walk past, because I was playing the Quest version, so it was the mixed reality version. When you're trying
the better version.
Well, yeah, I think that's my main point. Is I really like the mixed reality aspect of it, but having to get around all these people in such a small space while playing it didn't really give me the best experience, and I think there was a few issues with the tracking. But as for the actual game itself, I enjoyed what I played, and I think the mixed reality part is a big reason for that, because I can't imagine playing this on the PSVR 2 or any of the other platforms, because it would just be more like a standard puzzler, whereas with this being the mixed reality version, going in and out of the worlds actually makes sense, and it actually is fun to play because you're reaching into these drawers and finding little pieces and putting them in your own space. It just adds more to the story. But that's all I've really got to say about that one. I did enjoy what I could play, but the whole experience was not the simplest with all the people around, so it did add an extra challenge onto it.
Did they have anything else to share? I know obviously they were showing Infinite Inside, but did they have any insight into anything else that they were up to?
I don't think so, no. I think this one actually had to cut slightly short as an appointment because of what was going on and trying to get back on track and stuff. I was kind of used at my time limit, so they might have done, but I didn't ask them too much because I was kind of just more worried about them getting the game running properly again. So
I didn't see anything coming out that they said or see anyone else in it. I just wondered whether they'd shared any other information, because it's one of the few. Well, there was a few games, but not a lot of people were there showing new games rather than games that were already out. We've talked about this one.
Yeah.
So another one that's already out was Bootstrap Island, and don't think you got to try this, but you got to see it. Is that right?
No, unfortunately, I couldn't do this appointment, but I figured I'd already played the game on PC before, so it wasn't too much of a problem that I did miss out. I was watching a couple of people play it as I was walking by, but I've not played too much in general, but it's a really awesome game, I think, on PC. It's the physics-based stuff that you see stuff and you try and figure out whether you can do it or not, and probably 8 out of 10 times you can actually do it. And like
reloading your gun is probably one of the craziest things in this game. The fact that you can put too much gunpowder in and cause your gun to explode in your hand is just crazy. Like, I remember the first time I played it and I was streaming it and somebody's like, don't put too much gunpowder in. I was like, ow, what's too much? And next thing, the gun blew up in my hand and hurt me. I was like, okay, now I need to find food.
I just get satisfaction out of actually like cracking the coconut and then pulling the segments of the coconut off. Yeah, and then splitting it and
smashing it on a rock.
It's like a 5-layer system just to eat a coconut, but it's actually that's what you want in VR. You want
it's Castaway Simulator. You are Tom Hanks, basically. Yeah. It's a great game. I really do enjoy Bootstrap Island, and it gets more difficult the further you go on, as you can imagine. And obviously, the more nights you do, the more you get back. So, like, if you get to like night 12, I think you're unlocking the backpack or something like that. You unlock certain things to the amount of nights you do, and then you'll find them in the chests. Sparking and making fire in that game is one of like the most caveman experiences you'll ever have in VR. It's like, fire! It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to play more. With PC stuff, I don't have the room in here to do it, so it's always like at the back of my mind. I really want to play more of it, but a lot of the time it comes down to space. But I will have to play some more of this because I really enjoyed what I played. Next
one, I'm very excited to hear about, because ever since I've seen this at the showcase, I've been incredibly excited about this game and still want to play the first one. But Beyond Frames will be showing off Escaping Wonderland, and I'm just going to take a little moment out of here because a lot of how this footage was shared with you guys is you've all got like USB keys away with all with all the footage and stuff that you were recording. And I seen an image of this USB key, and it must be the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, what is it? A tiny little,
it's like a glass
ocean bottle almost
with a cork in it, and on the bottom side of the cork is the USB. I would show it for you guys, but it's downstairs with the other pile of USB sticks. So yeah, trying to get back through airport security with a backpack with like 6 or 7 USBs.
What are you smuggling?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get pulled aside as like a cyber hacker, but it was really cool. So this game, Escaping Wonderland. The first thing I did ask him is this a sequel to Down the Rabbit Hole? Because I do have that game, but I haven't actually played too much of it. But this game is more of a spiritual successor. It's in the same universe as Down the Rabbit Hole, and I didn't know what to expect, really. I've only started playing platformers in VR in the last, 6 months or so since Max Mustard came out. And that blew me away with how you could play a platformer, and the way it works in VR is actually super, super cool. Like, it's just unlike anything else, and I feel like it makes platformers better. But this one had a really good vibe to it. You could really, if you guys had played Witchblood, we talked about that last time, it actually gave me a lot of vibes of Witchblood, because you're in sort of a diorama, but instead of it being one in like a square box that's in front of you, you're actually inside like a dome. So you've got a 360 view all around you. And this is the kind of thing that you can't really see from the trailers of the game. It doesn't really show.
You need to refresh. It says not recording you anymore.
Yeah, so you're in this diorama, and the way you move around it is that there's routes that come out of the level. So you can see the rooms that you're in, which are kind of blacked out. And the further you progress through, you start to be able to see the other segments of the layer, and that comes in verticality, upwards, downwards, left, right. There's many different ways you can go around this dome. You kind of feel like you're underground in like an ant's nest or something. But the definite standout of playing this game is the route system. It's not a system, but there's routes all over this cave that you're playing in. And to move yourself around the map, you can actually reach these routes and sort of drag yourself around as if you were, I don't know, like a steering wheel or something. So if you can grab one on your left and then one on your right and then tilt that around, you kind of move the diorama space around. So you're in the center of this sphere, basically, where you can see all the levels you've already been through, all of the areas. And it really gets you involved in the game because you can really move up and down to different layers and zoom in on each level and see all the little details. And there's so many little details which I was finding myself just really zooming in really far just to see. I went into one room and there was like, I think it was a rocking chair and there was a mug next to it with a cup of tea or something in it, and there's all smoke particles coming out of it, and it looked just really awesome. So these little tiny details which the game is full of, you can really just pull these routes and get right in there and check them out, and they're all really nice looking. And that's like one of the biggest takeaways for me is like the amount of time they put into the little tiny details and letting you play it how you want. You don't have to focus on any of this stuff. You could just go through the story at a zoomed out pace, but it really gets you involved with what's going on in the world and the level design. So I came out of that one like having a really positive experience. Like I said, I've not played the one before it, the Down the Rabbit Hole, but I think I'm going to have to. But yeah, this was just an awesome experience, and the story seemed very interesting as well. It's your typical Alice in Wonderland story of all these kooky characters that you have to sort of do side quests for and find pieces, and yeah, it was just a really good time, and I can't wait to play more of it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my most anticipated now, and I like different. If we were all the same, it would be boring. But like, I definitely am. Out of the three of us, in particular, I probably like these kind of games the most, and the puzzle games rather than the shooter games and the retro games and all that. So I have a much different taste, but I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Yes.
What about you, Reese?
Yeah. It's something that I'm looking forward to. Again, I've not played the first one, and I think we said this last time when we did the VR game showcase wrap up. We both kind of said, okay, we need to play the first one. We need to experience that. I'm trying to think of my missus picked up the first one as one of the first games she bought on Quest, because I think she spotted one that she liked the look of. It might have been that. I can't remember.
You can quite often find
definitely
it on Steam for a low price.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'd probably grab it on Quest only because I like playing these type of platforms just sitting on my sofa, like laid back and just kind of panning, and it's a nice experience. Maybe laying down because the Quest lets you do that as well. But no, it's definitely one I'm looking forward to. I think one thing that's really just blew me away with it is just how charming the art style looks. It's one of them art styles that just kind of just slaps you in the face. It's colourful, it's vibrant, and it looks so clean. Like, and I know I use that word a lot, but it is. There's no jagged edges to it. You can tell there's a lot of passion that's went into the character designs, and yeah, that's really well done.
Yeah, it's all the little details, all the little particle effects, and you can there's little cogs everywhere throughout the levels, and you can sort of tap them with your fingers, and they sort of bounce around. So there is little things you can do as playing as yourself. There's no story about who you are if you're just a scenery set piece in the background, but you can interact with a few things in the game.
Cool. So I'm very excited to hear about the end of day one for you, because this is a game that we've seen, what was it, when it was the Upload VR? I can't remember when we seen this for the first time, but it was at a showcase.
Yeah.
To Ember Souls. And I suppose you mentioned Indiana Jones earlier, and you mentioned, and then there's also what this gave us very much Prince of Persia vibes. So how did it feel?
So yeah, I met the guys from Virtual Age, and they showed me Ember Souls, and this was, you nailed it. When you saw the trailers, it was like, this is Prince of Persia in VR. It's, when we saw Assassin's Creed, it's a similar type of vibe as Assassin's Creed Nexus, I would say, but it's kind of a mixture of a lot of different genres. Actually, there's a bit of blade and sorcery in there. So this one, I had a really good time with this one, figuring out the mechanics. So with it being Prince of Persia, it's not Prince of Persia, you know what I mean? It's like a Prince of Persia type of game. There's all these different things that you want to try in the game, and you can actually do wall running in the game. So when you come across the wall, you press a button, you kind of mount to a surface and run across it. And there's a few things that I was doing during this point where I was like, can I slash a guy while I'm wall running? And they didn't know themselves. They were like, well, I don't know, no one's ever tried it. So I ran across like doing this, and I'm pretty sure I hit him, or I threw a shield. I did something while I was wall running that they weren't expecting, and it actually worked. But there's a magic weaponry side of the game as well, which I didn't delve too much into because they weren't giving me the full story here. They're giving me little snippets and little sections of the game, kind of sped up the story into a vertical slice. But you have a wrist compartment where you can actually swap out weapons. There is a magical hook thing, I think, in the game which will pull you around, so you can use that to pull yourself towards beams in the air, and then it kind of goes into slow-mo, and you have to reach out and grab the beams in the air. So it's kind of like slingshotting you through the air, and then it goes into this slow motion action scene where you actually have to grab the beams to stop yourself from falling. It really does give you this Prince of Persia vibe where you feel like you are doing all this parkour. The other items that you get give you different powers as well. So in combat, which is the combat is very good. It's like legendary tales, blade and sorcery. There's a lot to it. There's shield bashing, I think. But the magic, you get different spells that you can use in different ways. I only really tried the one spell, but it was like a fush throw from Skyrim. So you hold your hand out and you push towards, and that would literally push all the enemies away. So if you're having a tough time with an enemy that has a big shield or something, you can kind of combat them in different ways with these magical abilities, and that one was really fun to do. It's on a cooldown timer, but so you can't just keep doing it over and over again, but it's a good way to change up the combat. There is decapitations in the game, so you got that blade and the sorcery vibe.
Well, you must have been happy then.
I was, yeah. There was one point where I wasn't sure if the enemy I just shanked was dead, so I was repeatedly chopping at them with a machete. And I asked them, I was like, did these guys disappear when they've died or not? And they were like, yeah, eventually. So I didn't know. But yeah, it's really cool combat in the game. The parkour is good. I've got good things to say about it. There was a few hitches, frame rate every now and again, but I think this is definitely isn't the final build, so that's stuff they can work on and polish as they develop the game further. But really nice guys, and yeah, really can't wait to see more of this one.
I assume you were playing Quest.
Yes, it was.
So
yeah.
And I suppose it's
Everything I played was on Quest. There were a few games that were PSVR2 headsets, but I didn't actually play those ones. Everything I did play was on Quest. And honestly, the majority of them were Quest and PC or Pico only. A lot of them weren't on the PlayStation. That was one of the main questions I did ask every time I played to the gamer, is this coming to the PlayStation? And the main answer I always got back was that they really want to put it on PlayStation, but it's not a consideration right now. And I don't know if that comes down to finances or deals they've made with Meta. But it seems like the PlayStation is always a thought that they really want to do, but it's not their primary concern when launching any of these titles. So I was only getting the standalone Quest version of all of these games. So whether there's improvements on the PC, obviously they're going to look a lot visually. That's another thing, that the questions that I asked quite often throughout all of these games that were Quest and PC is about the parity, because some of the games that I will get into later on are multiplayer with enemies on screen, and I was saying, like, are you going to have to sort of keep all the mechanics of the game and the things that you're seeing on the screen as a parity to the PC version and the Quest version, because if they're multiplayer, you kind of have to have the same experience. And throughout all of the games here, one of the main things a lot of the people were saying is that they're trying to get the parity the exact same with each one. So they're trying to get the best out of the Quest 3 headset and hopefully not hindering the PC versions as well. So they do seem to have in mind that they really want to get the best version for all platforms, which is I'm hoping they can achieve.
Really looking forward to this. It's one that has been a highlight, and one that's probably maybe a little bit more anticipated than it should be, coming from a smaller studio, and it seems like quite a big project, and they've been quite, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ambitious.
Ambitious, that is the word that I'm looking for this. So, and we don't have a date for this yet either, do we? No, do we have a date? It's I don't think we have a date. I think it's just later this year.
Meant to be this year, I think, last time I heard. Right. But
yeah,
no, I agree. It looks really good. It's one of them ones that's definitely on my anticipated list of VR games coming. And yeah, I think just from the get-go of looking here, it looked like Prince of Persia. But other than that, the trailer just blew me away.
It's a bit ambitious, but considering this was a Quest 3 standalone title, I think the mechanics and the gameplay and everything, it's looking really good. So yeah, can't wait to check this out.
I think a lot of people, just kind of, I think a lot of people underestimate the Quest. Yeah. I think there's so many games you play on it at times and we go, wow, this looks great. And I think so many people underestimate the Quest. I mean, let's just sidetrack a little bit and take a look at, Batman.
Right.
When the trailer showed for that, how great that looked on a standalone device. And I know that was like mix of gameplay and non-gameplay, but that looked fantastic. And that's running on a standalone device. So I think people do underestimate the Quest, and I think we've all done it ourselves. I think everyone that owns it has probably done it sometimes. But it's magical what that device can do.
I think one of the main things is it's hard to judge what something looks like from a trailer until you see it in the headset. For better or worse, like you're not going to get the experience until you've actually put it on your head. Like I was saying with Escaping Wonderland, you're not going to even be able to tell half the mechanics of the game unless you're actually playing it, because you're just seeing a flat trailer in VR is a whole different experience.
Yeah, well, I look forward to getting that experience. So when we went to day 2, you started off with games that I couldn't give a shit about, but I'm sure Reese will be very excited to hear about. So talk us through Combat Waffles.
Yeah, so
Combat Waffles. Talk us through Combat Waffles booth.
So Combat Waffle, this was a combined booth. So I did these 2 games back to back. These are the guys who brought us Ghost of Tabor, right? So still waiting on the PlayStation VR 2 version of that. But these are 2 very different games, and it seems like what Combat Waffle are trying to do is they're trying to sort of reach a certain target audience for each of the games. We got Ghost of Tabor, which is a military shooter. Silent North, which is the first one I played, is more of your like DayZ zombie survival game, and then the other one I played was Grimm, was more like a survival game like Rust. So first of all, I'll talk about Silent North. So this was more of a tech demo than a representation of the game. So they're hoping to get this out early next year, but it was a tech demo basically built to give me a gist of the game. Like a lot of the stuff was not finished, so it's very early. So none of the animations were for opening doors or anything work. You could use the gun, you could wander around and see the environment, the zombies in the game that you can shoot. So you get a sense of the horde of zombies and how they interact with you. So it was very, very small scale, but I had fun with what I played in the game. You have to survive essentially by finding materials and finding weapons, like most sort of battle royale type of games, more focused on surviving from the human encounters in the game from other squads and other teams. The zombies are more of just a hindrance and to make it more stressful while you're playing. So while there is a lot of zombies on the screen, you don't get any sort of rewards from killing them. I guess they're just there to make the game more intense for you to play. But with this being a small scale environment, I didn't get to see sort of how many zombies you have on screen. And these are some of the questions I did ask them: is how far can you push this? Because when you want zombie hordes, you want those hordes to be able to be intimidating, where you can barely get through them, and it becomes a challenge whether it's risk or reward, whether you want to go and actually go to a new location or just like horde up. So I didn't get to see too many of the mechanics, but I was asking quite a lot of questions about it. And this is one of the ones where let's talk about parity between the 2 platforms, the PC version and the Quest version, because it's cross-play. You're kind of limited by what you can do on the standalone, which is going to come across to the PC version as well, because there's only so many enemies you can have on screen at once in the standalone Quest headset. So these are some of the questions I was asking, like how many zombies can you sort of push on the screen, or in the PC version or the other platform version, would you be able to push the hardware more to get more hordes and stuff? And the main thing was that they wanted the parities, and they're the things that you can't really change, but they said they're going to really, I think they're going to work from the Quest to get as much in there as possible firsthand. But the mechanics of the game, there seems to be quite a lot. You can sort of make poisons, and you can poison water sources and all these things. I'm not sure if these are apparent in games like Ghost of Tabor and other survival games, but there seems to be lots of cool mechanics that would...
DayZ.
Yeah, DayZ. So yeah, that's their sort of borderline inspiration.
You can do things like that in Daisy. You can kind of force feed some bleach to kind of poison them. It's a very weird game.
Yeah.
But yes, carry on.
Yeah. So with it being such a small scale, and you start off in a little room and you pick up some weapons you can dual wield, and you can put clips on your body and all that stuff. So you're basically there to learn the gun mechanics and to see the world and the zombies and how they interact. So there's not that much I can actually tell you about how it works, because it was me just walking around, but it looked pretty nice for the standalone quest. I really enjoyed headshotting zombies in the game. The guns feel pretty tight, with this being Ghost of Tabor. The guys know what they're doing with gun mechanics and reloading. So yeah, as far as what I'd played, I'm down for playing more of it, especially with the squad. So it's very early, so hopefully we get to see more of it soon and see how the game progresses, because it will be just a platform that will hopefully build over time and they'll be able to add more things to it. So moving on now to the next game. So directly after this, I moved a little bit over to my right and they had the game Grimm. Now, this one I was really interested about when I first saw the announcement trailer for. The main goal for this one was saying it's like a survival game like Rust, and I've not played much of Rust. I don't think that's my type of survival game where you have to start from scratch with no weapons, basically like a caveman. But but the twist on this one is that you're actually on Mars. I'm not sure if there's multiple planets or if you're just on Mars throughout the whole game, but it's essentially a survival game where I'm not sure how many members you can have in a squad, but you can squad up and explore this vast scenery. And this place was huge. Like, you started off in what was called a biodome, which has oxygen in it, and there's animals in there like deer, and there's grass, and there's things for you to hunt and harvest. Outside in the barren lands of Mars, there's no deer running around, let's face it. So you go to these certain areas, these biodomes, to gather food and materials that can only be like kept alive in this area. And it's sort of going to be a hotspot, I think, where people will go in to try and gather things. I don't know, there's going to be people trying to fight for who gets to kill a deer and hunt, but they definitely said that there's going to be hot zones on the map where there's going to be areas where people are going to go specifically just to loot and kill people. So this is essentially that type of survival game, but with the added aspects of you being in space. So you can craft different types of space suits, which all have different types of durability and maybe different levels of oxygen capacity. So there's all these different things you've got to counter into it, with it being a space game where you get different materials from rocks on Mars, from mining, like ores and stuff like that. It's your typical setup, but I think it being set in space, it adds a whole new layer to it, especially for sci-fi fans. And it's looking pretty good. I think this was actually a game made by quite a small team, like maybe even one dude. And the guys at Combat Waffle actually sort of jumped in to sort of get his game finished a bit faster. So I think they'd be working in conjunction to see what they can push, how they can get it out and build from there. So can't wait to see the full game.
Yeah, I've been following the development for this one just because I did play a lot of Rust. I used to be quite addicted to it, actually. So yeah, I have been following the development, and they've kind of put a lot of stuff that's in Rust into this as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this one. I definitely think I'll sink some time into that for sure.
Yeah, Go on, Alex.
No, I was just going to say, obviously I joked at the beginning that I don't give a shit about these games. That's just because like Ghost of Tabor is just not that type of thing. But I think there's probably a bit. Yeah, we'll try them, and there's probably a bit more in these for me than in Ghost of Tabor. I mean, there's a bit more variation to it. I suppose the biggest thing to me when we spoke about these, the showed at the showcase, is I couldn't really tell the difference between the two of them. Like, they both just looked like two of the same game with different skin over the top. Like, one had zombies and one had other types of enemies on Mars. Like, did they feel... And obviously, I know you're saying you didn't get much of a feel for Silent North because it was more of a tech demo, but did they feel distinctly different?
I would say they did feel quite similar, but the different mechanics in each one definitely set it apart.
Yeah.
Silent North seemed more simple, and in that one you had a backpack you could take off and take items out of, so it's more like your traditional VR Walking Dead, Saints of Sinner style, whereas Grimm was more like a classic Rust type of game where you actually have to use the menus. So there was less VR elements from what I could tell. It was more about picking up your inventory, and you could move across your inventory and drag things across, but you didn't have physical things. So it felt like there was a lot less VR gameplay in Grimm compared to Silent North. I feel like Silent North was built more around the VR aspect, and Grimm was just a game that would work well in VR with a bunch of friends. So both games are early-ish. They're not coming out soon, so I don't know if they're going to be adding or changing things. So a lot could change, but yeah, I'd say Grimm felt less of a VR game than Silent North, but Silent North is obviously a lot newer than Grimm, so they did feel different, but I feel they're all hitting different markers of combat waffles, genres and types of players, so they're trying to hit each market.
I think with like Grimm though, the mechanics kind of have to be a bit similar. It's like with Rust, like when you're building bases or
so
you're
many
doing certain things,
right?
you have to. Then moments when you're doing that, it has to be a hindrance. You have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So if you're just going for your backpack and you can still rotate around and all that kind of stuff,
right,
that's not going to give that thing if somebody wanting to sneak up on you at that time. If you see someone building a base in Rust, you know to rush them as soon as possible. So I mean, I think at the same point of it not feeling VR, I think having that hindrance and being able to add that, you know, I'm going to rush that person while they're feeling vulnerable that's the gameplay style. So I think in the same sense it works, but no, I completely get what you mean. Like you can't beat that feeling just pulling out a backpack and just having to manage all your inventory, especially like, you know,
in the game like Rust, like in Grimm,
into the radius, like managing everything. Like, I just want to fill up my backpack with rocks. I just want to just hide these rocks and just walk around. Like, these are my rocks. You can't have them.
Yeah, with it being more futuristic and set in space, there's. I mean, I don't know what's in Rust, but it seems like there's a lot of different kind of bits of machinery you can use. I came across this sort of compactor.
Yeah, you can get that in Rust,
It's like a trash compactor. That was one question I did ask them, because you have to go to this compactor and you actually have to go into the menu and hit a button to then add items into the compactor. And that's my main thing was like, can I not just take it out and place it in, just drop it into the compactor and watch it get crushed? And the guy was like, I really wish you could do that, but I don't think that's a possibility because the game is so dense with different items and mechanics. But I really would have liked stuff like
argument. I suppose the argument here is, say if you want to put 50 items in the compactor, could you imagine stand there while grabbing 50 items out of your backpack, you know?
Pushing it down.
Good in there. I'm looking forward to playing this one. I think we will have some fun with this one, especially because of just how addictive Rust was for me. I think I could see myself getting hooked to this type of game again, especially with VR. So I'm really interested.
I've never got to try out any. I had a bow and arrow in the game. I never got to try out any of the gun mechanics in.
It's the same as Rust. You won't get them until a little bit later to your first airdrop.
Will it be
and then you get killed
space,
in your sleep.
Though, I'm hoping we get to see some futuristic weapons like laser rifles and stuff.
So that's Grimm and Silent North. I did not think in any way, shape or form I would be as excited to talk to you about the next game. But Bandspace. Tell us about Bandspace and then we'll tell you about Bandspace.
Okay. I mean, you guys have probably played more Bandspace than me right now.
I would probably have. Reese definitely has. But you've probably got a wee bit more of an insight into it, because I'm assuming the demo that we played wasn't as full a build as you got to play there.
Couldn't tell you, to be honest. But so Bandspace by Fast Travel. I saw this one. Was this revealed at the showcase last week, right?
It was on
Yeah. So
I mean, it's been in side quest, I think, I believe, and also App Lab prior to that. But I think Fast Travel Games have just picked them up,
So this one, I was pretty excited when I first saw the announcement, because I love music rhythm games, I love Guitar Hero, I love Rock Band. Like, I've got all the equipment still in the house. I don't often get it out, but I do have it. I love the drums on Rock Band. And one thing that I was saying to the developers when I was playing this game is, like, having all different instruments and it being multiplayer is a massive selling point for this game, because when you're playing something like Smash Drums or one of the guitar games, let's say there's a song that you bought DLC for or something, you can only play that one instrument in the game, whereas you might want to do the guitar solo in a game or Smash Drums that you can't do it. And with this, all the songs have capability of playing keyboard, guitar, bass, and drums. So you get to play, there's a lot more playability in it, and also with the multiplayer, being able to play with friends and pick and choose what you want to play, it's going to be a lot more of a social party game. And the fact that you can do this multiplayer anywhere in the world, not just like playing Rock Band with your friends next to you with the equipment, it's going to open the doors for a lot of people to jump in and have a great time with this one.
Do you want to go next, Alex?
No, you go. On you go.
I absolutely love this game. Absolutely love it. I think it was last night or the night before, I was up to 2 a.m. playing it. And that says a lot right there. Yeah. I think I'm like level 25 now. I downloaded it. I think it was either Friday evening or Saturday evening. I think it was Saturday evening. I stayed up to 2 a.m. playing it. And yeah, I played all the songs they had on rotation. Then the next day I actually rotated to the next lot of songs. I went through trying the keyboard and just a variety of instruments in this game. Like you said, being able to try a song that you enjoyed with another instrument, it just adds that extra layer of worth to that game. And another great thing, like I got Alex to join me the other day, and he equally, I'm sure he'll tell you how much fun he had as well. But I was like, okay, I'll select this song, but it shows up easier on certain other instruments, so this other players can kind of, it kind of mixes it up a little bit for people that are comfortable to have that balance. And yeah, so I've not stopped playing this, and then I think it's either yesterday or the day before, I jumped in to their Discord and started dabbling in the custom maps and playing all those. And I don't think I've evolved this quickly in a rhythm game before where I'm like, this is great. Okay, now I want to go try all the custom tracks. Like, I can usually wait months before when you try custom tracks on a rhythm game. I mean, Synth Riders, I've still not even jumped into the custom tracks yet. Same with Beat Saber. I mean, I've got it ready on my PC to have a go at it. But this one, I was like, I've done all this. I want to see what other people have made. And I went on there and I played like the Rumbling, I think a couple of Linkin Park tracks, and just I am absolutely loving this. Like every night before bed, I'm jumping on that game. It's insane. It is, I can't wait for the full release. They've done such a great job.
Is there any Coldplay?
There's 2 Coldplay tracks in their Discord actually. Yes,
the way they made it sound is that it's pretty simple to upload your own custom songs. So if you want it, you can probably get someone, request someone to make it for you. It not take a long time at all.
Yeah, so if you want to try and dabble in making your own songs, or they have got the thing on there for you to download and make your own songs and give it a go. The only thing I will say is on certain songs you download, it might only be for set instruments because that person's only made it for that instrument. Like usually it's the drums, the bass, and the guitar, whereas like a lot of times they'll kind of cancel out keyboard, which is a shame because the keyboard on that game is an underappreciated instrument. It is very fun to use.
Yeah, it's probably the most fun to use, I would say, out of the 4. But I mean, I love it as well. No, sorry, that's what I was thinking. Guitar in my head. I don't know why I said keyboard, but the guitar. But I quite enjoyed it all, to be honest. Like for the hour and a half, maybe I ended up playing it last night. I can't remember. But
my Quest ran out of battery 2 times yesterday. 2 times in a day.
It's that. I think, see, the way you were playing it and you could see, and I think when this goes into mixed reality as well, and I know that's not coming at launch, it's going to be coming a little bit later. Like, it was like, Reese was on the guitar, and I was on the bass, and Reese was on the keyboard, but I was walking over towards them so that you were like playing the guitar beside each other, and like playing it with 4 people together. And I mean, we joked about this last night, see if you could add a singer.
Well, I was asking that also. And I mean,
it would be fun.
They weren't sure if they can manage that, but after I asked them that, when I was playing the drums, I walked over to the microphone and I kind of like got down and like pretended to like sing into it, and the guy was like jumping in. But it was it's a music and rhythm game. There's not much you can evolve on these type of things, so it's kind of reached its peak. I was trying to I couldn't think of anything to suggest to the guys that they could even do to. The only thing I said was
more environments. I mean, the environments like that. I think that's one thing we've got to say as well. How cool is it just seeing the earth in front of you and just like moving, and you're like, it's just mind blowing. The different environments. I mean, each pack they could add a new environment of just something mind blowing for you to look at. I mean, I've got nothing but praise for this game. Nothing but praise.
One of my main points, because we were talking about sort of how people would play with audiences and like live stream and stuff, and I was just saying, like, it's just such a shame that the Quest doesn't have a proper built-in live streaming function where you can see chat and stuff in the headset, because it'd be perfect, because you could play this game for hours if you were in there and you're able to sort of speak to an audience. You just can't do that, and it adds an extra layer on why you there's not that many people doing live streaming on VR because it's just so much more of a boundary. And a game like this is just fun. It would be great for stuff like that.
We know how many hiccups there can be with a live stream. I believe it's coming to PC as well. The demo was out on PC at one point, but it's now since been removed because I was going to jump in because I wanted to live stream it. Because when I do live stream, I jump on the PC. It's easier. Yeah, just
simple.
I don't know. Yeah, it's exactly. It's just so fun. Like literally, that guitar is just so immersive.
Yeah,
so immersive.
I was surprised with some of the genres of music on there as well. Because when you see the Bandspace logo, you kind of remember like when you have Rock Band, but then you had like the other versions. I can't remember what they're called. Like the not Guitar Hero. Like there's like Band Hero or something.
Band Hero.
Yeah, it's more of like your popular one. But there's quite a lot of variety in the songs that were actually in the game already. I was expecting it to be more just.
It's a Christmas song.
Yeah. Well, one person
I was thinking it was Christmas.
There was one modded song that someone had installed at the event at Gamescom, and it was Slipknot Before I Forget. And I really wanted to play it, but it was Extreme Plus mode, so I had to.
Oh, mate, you should have just done it. You should have just done it. The Extreme Plus mode on certain songs, just depending on mapping, you'll be fine.
That was my first question. Is there a no fail mode on?
Yeah, I don't think I found a song even with missing a lot of notes.
I don't think I failed.
No, it's very fair as well. Like I feel like the scoring system is very fair. Like when we got to the end of the song, we either had like an A or an S or an S, and it was like, okay, went really well. So it's
good to be competitive for multiplayer as well, because you actually see the sort of bar charts of who did the best, which is a good thing to have.
It's very much like Battle of the Bands. Like you can join each other's bands, and then it's all competing against all different bands, which I think is going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
I'm not sure if you guys played it multiplayer together. I should have asked, could you do like a sort of head-on 4 people playing guitar together? Can you do that? Or is it always got to be different instruments?
No,
I think it always needs to be different instruments.
You can switch around. So you basically say if somebody's on an instrument when you first join a lobby, it'll ask you which instruments you like playing on. You can tick and untick which ones you don't like. Usually I just leave them all ticked, or sometimes if I want to go heavy on the guitar, I just leave that one. It'll kind of filter you into a lobby where other players haven't ticked that, which I think is a great system because there are some people that don't want to play certain instruments.
Yeah, that should be really cool if you had a system in-game where you could kind of swap with someone mid-game.
You can.
That's awesome.
You can't swap mid-game, so when you go back to the lobby, it'll show you on your left-hand side and it'll have like a little like a rotation sign. If you click on that, the other person can accept the rotation, so you just switch the instruments with them.
Okay.
If it's only 2 people in a lobby, you can switch whatever instrument you want to play in the lobby. So, yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, I've got nothing but praise for this one, and I think a lot of people can have a blast of it when it comes out. And if you haven't played the demo, it's still on the Quest Store. Just when you're searching it, make sure to search Bandspace demo, because otherwise it doesn't come up.
Another one to look forward to this year. And moving on to your last game, which I was going to say we move on and talk about your last game. You did go and see nDreams, but you can't actually tell us anything about your last game.
Yeah,
so...
I can't say anything about this one, other than I played something from nDreams. That's it. That's all you got for now. So we can talk about their recently revealed game, Vendetta Forever. They had that at the booth. I didn't play it there, but I played a lot of it beforehand, before when we had the speedrun challenge.
Yeah.
So this game is very reminiscent of Action Hero in the vibe and how I feel about that game. That was my first thought, even before Action Hero. This game feels like super hot. And I mean, you guys have probably played about the same amount as me on this one, so I won't spend too much time talking about it, but it's a blast, and it is one that you could just play over and over again, trying to get those high scores and make it through the levels and play them in multiple different ways. So if you guys want to take the lead on this one and tell us your thoughts, then go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably not played as much as the two of you on this, mainly because, as I kind of alluded, I don't know if, because I've had knee surgery, I've really enjoyed what I've played, but it gets me too involved in it that I'm too worried that I do twist too quickly and hurt myself. So I'm very much like, no, I can't play too much of this, but it's so cool. Like, it looks so nice. It's such a good set, and that whole locomotion thing in terms of when you grab that gun, you grab that knife, you're like plotting out. Yeah. I mean, not straight away. You're just kind of trying to work out how the level works and where you need to get to, and finding the VIP, killing them, getting to the exit. And obviously, for people that don't fully understand it, essentially you grab a weapon, you kill someone, they drop their weapon, and then to move, you grab the next person's weapon as it drops. So you need to like basically go, grab, go, and it's all about getting to the end of the level, killing the people, and you can only move when you've killed and grabbed the next weapon. And it's such a good idea. It's so well done. I mean, you expect
very unique,
very stylish.
You expect this level of polish from nDreams now. I think nDreams are one of those top tier VR publishers. Like they are the ones to. Well, they are the biggest now, aren't they? Like
yeah, they are.
They
one
are
of the
biggest VR publisher now. And I'm really excited to see the full game, because even in that demo we only got a few levels, and there's 50 odd levels in the full game when it releases in October.
They're all different as well.
They're all very different. So yeah, I am really looking forward to seeing the rest of this. Because I don't know, I'm assuming you're fairly similar to us in terms of.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the full release. I enjoyed the demo. Again, I mean, I didn't have knee surgery, so I didn't have an excuse. I just remember I remember we got access for the demo in the middle of that heat wave week. And I remember switching it on and having the fan on full blast, and yet still absolutely sweating. But no, the first thing, I think it's the same thing we've always said, is like the first thing you notice is just how great that movement feels. Like literally, it makes you feel like you're in an action film. And I love the way you start off with a pencil on one of them. I think it was like the first level, you started off with a pencil, and I was like, I see what you've done there. Like it's just the little things, and it's really well done. They've done a great job with it, and yeah, I believe it's one of their third-party developers, isn't it, this one? So, no, it's really good. And I'm glad that it's coming to all the platforms, at the same time as well, so everyone gets to experience it. But, you can have a good time with this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't had knee surgery, and I felt like this game was killing me off because I was getting so involved with it. I was pretending I was the biggest badass in the world, so I properly outstretching my arm every time I wanted to get a headshot, and by like the end of that session, my elbows were absolutely killing me from just having my arm fully extended for such a long time. But yeah, great game. Really enjoyed Waffle.
I mean, I don't know if it's just me. The problem I have now when playing the quest is like if I play certain games where like bullets are coming at you and you can dodge them with just either moving your body or even going as low down as possible. I've now even got to the point where like I'm kneeling down on the floor to where I'm like actually sitting on the floor and then getting back up when playing VR games. So I get up and I'm like, why have I just done that?
And where am I
facing on the sofa behind you?
Yeah, exactly. It's got so silly. I think it's when I played Gunman Contracts for one of the times. I think it's when I did his John Wick mod, and the counter is so low that the only way I can get behind it is by kind of like sitting on the floor and leaning back. And ever since that, I've been doing that with a lot of shooting games of VR, and damn, does it make you just feel like you're really immersed in this setting. It's crazy. So yeah, I did that a little bit on this game. Yeah, I mean, even when I played, Contractor Showdown, and I did sniping, I laid down on the floor in the room while doing it. It looked stupid to everybody else, but it felt great to me. So yeah, this is a good one, and I can't wait to sink my time into those levels they're adding.
Yeah, it's I think is another one. It's going to be a success. People are going to love it. Absolutely. So it sounds like you had very much fun in Germany, Sean.
Yeah.
Of the games that you got to play. I mean, plenty that you didn't get to play. Is there anything else that you would highlight that you've seen that you didn't get to play?
Nothing I can really talk about. I've seen a couple of games that were being played on PSVR 2s, and I won't say what they are, but I'll say that they look really good. That's all I can say about them. I'm just very disappointed that I didn't have the time to try out a lot of these games because I was only there for the 2 days and I had to fly back on the second day, so I missed out on a lot of opportunities, a lot of appointments, and that's just the stuff that was in the XR booth. There's so much around the event. I actually queued up to play Behemoth, and I got really close to the front of the queue, and the guy came out and was like, it's going to be another 30-40 minutes for the wait. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and book a fast lane ticket where you can pretty much jump in the queue and go tomorrow on the Thursday. And my last appointment basically ran out as that expired, so I never got to play Behemoth. But I mean, I'm gonna love that game either way. Like,
yeah,
so,
I mean, it's
maybe better not to play that
exactly,
because then you get to experience it fresh when you get the full game.
I think that's one of them games. It's just going to blow everyone's mind, isn't it? The first time you see the huge behemoths just walking above you, I think it's just one of them crazy feelings when you see something gigantic in VR. So no, but.
I got to try out B-Haptics as well. That was one thing I did that I really wanted to do while I was there. And I did have the X40 vest on and I had the gloves on. I didn't really get to play a game which used the vest to its full capabilities, but I had a game with the finger tracking gloves, and there was a little short demo where you could slap an avatar in the face, and there was a drone that was shooting at you, and you could feel like the beams coming out of your hand as if you're Iron Man. And then when the drone was shooting at you, you'd flip your hands into a shield, and you could sort of feel the impact hitting you. And it was a really cool experience. So I'm looking forward to try some more stuff from there, because it's a very immersive way to play games.
Yeah.
Very expensively to play
yes.
It's like what is it, VR realm we've had on here before. He's always said to us it's very much a, you know, it's one of them products that's for, you know, I don't remember the word he said, but you know, it's the high end VR players. That's the one. I mean, I think we're all VR enthusiasts, but I think it's for like the high end VR enthusiasts that kind of want everything. You know, they want mouth tracking, they want people to, you know, all that kind of crazy stuff that's going to cost you like $6,000 just to kind of make you look like you're actually dancing on a pole in VR chat.
The Combat Waffle guys mentioned about this other one, and not B-Haptics, where it's like gel pads. And you have,
there's another one. Yeah, there's a few different ones I've seen.
They said you can feel like a knife going in and out from your back. Like, that sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah. There's Genghis VR. She uses a lot of different ones, and just I remember seeing a video where she kind of hurt herself so much of it she ended up twisting her ankle after jumping back.
Oh god!
And I was like, can they really be that bad? And I think that's what instantly piqued my interest. Like, how bad can you make that pain feel with this VR haptic vest?
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah. Well worth the £600.
Right. I want to pick a little bone. I've got a little bone to pick here. How we're now sitting about 70 minutes into the episode, and you've not even mentioned the highlight of Gamescom and the highlight of VR Showcase.
What's that?
I mean, what about Trombone Champ?
I didn't get the chance. I saw it, and I couldn't. I did my appointment. It's too late for that, and I was so gutted. I did try and shuffle a few things around, but it was pretty much the whole.
But it looked good.
From the glimpse I saw, I didn't see too much, but
just tell me it looked good, Sean. I need to know that it looked good.
No information, but I think it looked good.
Good, right? That's enough for me, and I think that's enough for you guys as well. So thank you all for listening to our Gamescom special. Sean sounds like he had an absolute blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please, yes. So thank you, Sean, for joining us. Thank you, Reese.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and please do join us again next time, and we'll have far more VR fun for you to listen to. And please take a moment to like, subscribe, leave us a little review, join our Discord, all the things I mentioned at the start. But until next time, it's good.